Is basic training going to change you? What's going on, guys? So in today's video I'm going to talk about you going to basic training, or maybe a loved one going to basic training, and whether or not it's actually going to change you. Maybe there'll be some traits that change or whatnot, but is it actually going to change who you are as a person? That's the question that I'll answer here. So one of the big negatives whenever people are thinking about joining the military, at least from another person's perspective. So if you are wanting to join the military, your family might be using a negative, as in them thinking that you're going to change. You're going to be a more, strict. You're going to be more mean. You're going to be much a worse person after you join the military. That's like a big stigma that the military has, is that it just changes people for the worse. I got that whenever I joined. I remember a few people saying that it was like stupid that I was joining and it was going to change me for the worse. I'm such a nice guy, and after I join the military I'm going to be, a butthole basically. And I will tell you that that is just completely not true. The military experience, going through basic training, is not going to change a super nice person into a really mean, a rude person. In fact, it's probably going to do a lot more good than it is going to do bad. Yes, there might be some bad things that the military kind of brings out in you, but I've never really seen any kind of issue to where it just develops something crazy new. Like for my personal example, I'm going to tell you guys something that I think the military has changed me for the worse. Some little bad trait that the military has given me, or it's brought out in me, because I used to have this before, but now it's just amplified a little bit more, and that is dealing with people who don't really care or are ignorant. When you're in the military, you're dealing with people who are a lot more motivated, who have a purpose and kind of a reason to do what they're told. And on the civilian side, a lot of people are just flat out lazy. And I know for me personally, it's not like I get super mad or anything like that, but I just could care less to deal with people who really don't want to help themselves. I look for people who want to help themselves, and I'll be all for that. But then whenever it comes to me personally, if you're super ignorant, if you're just not wanting to do really anything to better yourself, I'm just like, screw it, I'm not even going to deal with that. And so I would say that's kind of a negative thing that the military has given me. But as far as the positives goes, there's so many positives that the military has given me. As far as my outlook on life, I think that's going to be a big thing that's going to change when you join the military. However your mindset is, your kind of view of the world, your view of the military, your view of America as a country, your view of the flag, it is going to change. It's not going to be like totally flip-flopped upside down, but there's going to be certain tweaks in your perspective that you're going to go through. In the process of going through basic training and becoming a soldier is going to change your perspective a little bit. It's not going to be a big, huge, drastic change. Again, somebody is not going to join the military and then whenever they get out, they're going to look like a completely different person. That's not going to happen. What happens generally whenever it comes to that side of the things, when people are looking at a big negative on the military, is generally when somebody joins the military, they go to war, they do a bunch of things that they might regret, and they get PTSD. And what we're talking about here is the military changing you rather than war changing you. Because when you go to war and you have to experience all that stuff, I think that will change you kind of at a more core level. I've never experienced that before, obviously, but I will speak to the fact that becoming a soldier and transferring over from a civilian, becoming a soldier, is going to provide a lot of good values. It will make your soldier, yourself, whoever it is, the loved one that's going through basic training right now for you, it's going to make them appreciate life a lot more, in my opinion. It's going to make them appreciate freedom a lot more. And once they graduate basic training, when you go and see them on family day, whenever you are graduating basic training or whenever you're on family day, things are going to be a little bit different, because you're going to be like super soldierized, and your family might be looking at you and be like, oh my gosh, this guy, he's just so perfect, and he does all this correct stuff, and he says sir and ma'am all the time, and he's just so perfect. And some people ask me, do you stay like that for forever? And the answer is no. Whenever you graduate basic training, that is going to be the point when you're the most hua, when you're just the most, like I said, soldierized, because you've been through basic training. There's not any outside forces affecting you or anything. But then when you graduate basic training, you're going to go to AIT, and some of that is going to wear off a little bit. Then you're going to graduate from AIT, and you're going to go into the regular Army, or you're going to go into the Army Reserves or the National Guard, and a little bit more is going to wear off, and you're going to start to become a little bit more like your old self, but with those perspective tweaks that I talked about earlier. Not every soldier always ends up being that perfect little neat freak that the military wants to make you out to be. They may be like that for a little while after basic training or AIT, but that will probably wear off a little bit. I know for me, myself, that has stayed with me for the entirety of my military career so far. It's not like I'm a super neat freak, but the tolerance level that I have for a mess is a lot lower now. So if a mess starts to accumulate in my room, in my apartment or whatever, in my car, just in any area, the tolerance I have for that mess is a lot lower, and I'll generally clean it up a lot faster. So that is something that's changed for me, and that's probably what most military personnel are going to experience. You're going to go to basic training, you're going to be just used to cleaning everything and scrubbing everything and dusting everything every single day. You might get home, you might do that for a week, a couple months or whatever, but eventually that'll kind of wear off to where just your tolerance for certain things has changed. So at the core of who a person is, I don't think really that the military changes you at your core. I don't think that it'll do that. What I do think that it does is it changes your perspectives on a few things, and those things might change and you'll see that in your actions, or other people will see that in your actions, but it's not going to be a humongous, just drastic change months or years after basic training. And even still, some people who go through basic and AIT, it takes them a lot longer to kind of change a little bit, because some people, they'll join the military and sometimes parents are like, man, I really hope the military just straightens out my son or straightens out my daughter because they're just really rowdy and they're just getting in trouble all the time. I really hope the military straightens them out. Well, that might happen at basic training, that might not happen at basic training, but if you stay in the military for a long enough time, I guarantee you that will happen. So if you're worried about your son or daughter, or maybe you yourself just gets into trouble all the time and you're like, man, I need some structure in my life, I need to do this. The military, if you stay in it, it's going to do that for you for sure. You know, maybe if you just do your first contract or the first year, you might not see some of those changes, but when you stay in, the structure, the discipline that the military provides will rub off on that soldier, whoever your loved one is or you yourself. So those are my thoughts on will the Army change you whenever you join. If you had that question, I hope I answered that question for you. And if you like this video, you can hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you want to stick around for more of my videos, whether you're a loved one of a family member or you're looking to join the military, you're a future soldier or whatever, I've got plenty of videos here. So if you want to stick around for those, hit that subscribe button. That would be awesome. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys later.